Hey there, MMA enthusiasts! Get ready for some action-packed stories from the world of mixed martial arts. We're diving into 5 thrilling fights that had fans on the edge of their seats.
Alvarez getting loose, getting better here in this round, though.
Oh, man.
Until that.
Oh, he's done. He's done.
History has been made!
From brutal punches to cauliflower ear explosions, we've got it all. So, let's jump right in and relive these unforgettable moments in the octagon. Jędrzejczyk versus Penny. Let me tell you about a big fight between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Jessica Penny. Joanna was the champ, and she was defending her title at UFC Fight Night 69 against Jessica, the #1 contender. Now, Joanna came out like a tornado in that fight. She was throwing all kinds of punches, elbows, knees, and kicks at Jessica. It was like a storm of strikes. Poor Jessica got hit so many times, and her face got all cut up and bloody. This one-sided beating went on for 3 whole rounds. Joanna was just too much for Jessica to handle. Finally, in the 3rd round, the referee had to stop the fight. They call it a TKO, which means Jessica couldn't keep going because she was taking too much damage.
But Joanna came through and proved why she is the champion. Fantastic range striking, good clinch work, but it was really the elbows that turned the tide for this fight. Cracking her with good clean shots on the inside.
After the fight, when you looked at Jessica's face, it was pretty rough. She had cuts and bruises all over, and it was a tough sight to see. Joanna Jędrzejczyk defended her title against Jessica Penny at UFC Fight Night 69. Joanna dominated the fight with a crazy flurry of strikes, and the referee had to stop it in the 3rd round. Poor Jessica's face got all battered up. Brown vs. Mitrione. There's a fight between Travis Browne and Matt Mitrione at UFC 81. It was a 3-round battle in the heavyweight division. So the fight started with Matt Mitrione coming out all guns blazing. He was super aggressive and causing a lot of trouble for Travis Browne. Travis, on the other hand, was dealing with some eye pokes from Matt during the 3 rounds. Now, these eye pokes really messed up Travis's performance. They slowed him down, and that's when Travis saw his chance. He managed to take Matt Mitrione down, and things got tough for Matt. In the end, it was a TKO victory for Travis Browne in the 3rd round.
Very patient here and methodical, just pounding away Mitrione.
And it's all over! Travis Browne by TKO!
Matt's eye was in really bad shape after the fight. It got all swollen up, showing how those eye pokes had messed with him throughout the rounds. Travis Browne faced Matt Mitrione in a heavyweight fight at UFC 81. Matt was super aggressive, but Travis took advantage of some eye pokes, and that helped him win by TKO in the 3rd round. Matt's eye was a mess after the fight. Aldo versus Manik. Let's dive into a fight between Jose Aldo and Marco Manik at UFC 51, 29. Jose was the champ, and he was defending his title against Marco, who was a top contender at that time. In this fight, both Jose Aldo and Marco Manik were at their best, and it was a real treat for the fans. Here's the cool part. Jose Aldo, the champ, took Marco down to the ground, and that's when things got intense. Jose started throwing punches and elbows like crazy, almost like a storm of hits. These strikes caused a big bump on Marco's forehead, which they call a hematoma, and it looked pretty rough.
Now, the biggest one we've ever seen, that's it. John's going to call in a doctor, and I think that's going to be it. I don't see how a doctor could let that fight go on. There's no way. Look at that thing.
The fight had to be paused for a little while, and a doctor came in to check out Marco's hematoma. After taking a good look, the doctor said Marco could keep fighting, so they didn't stop the battle. That just goes to show how tough these fighters are. Even with a big bump on his forehead, Marco wanted to keep going, and the fight continued. It was a real display of determination and bravery in the octagon. So the battle went on for a full 5 rounds, and when it was all said and done, Jose Aldo was declared the winner by unanimous decision. That means all the judges agreed that Jose did a better job in the fight. Jose Aldo defended his title against Marco Manik at UFC 51, 29. It was an exciting fight, with Jose pounding Marco's forehead, creating a big bump. After 5 rounds, Jose won by unanimous decision. I vs. Smith. Here is a wild fight between Jessica I and Leslie Smith at UFC 180. This was a 3-round battle in the bantamweight division. In this fight, both Jessica and Leslie were really going at it, trading blows back and forth. It was a real treat for the fans, let me tell you. But here's the jaw dropper. Jessica I landed a super clean right-hand punch right on Leslie Smith's ear. Ouch, that must have hurt. This punch was so strong that it made Leslie's ear swell up and explode like a cauliflower popping. It looked just like something you'd see in a scary movie. The impact of that punch was so intense that blood splattered all over the canvas. It got really messy in there, and the referee, Herb Dean, had to jump in and stop the fight. He needed to check if Leslie was okay because that cauliflower ear explosion was not something you see every day. Let me tell you, that moment was a real shocker, and it shows how crazy and intense MMA fights can get. Jessica's punch was like a movie scene, and it made everyone hold their breath.
Jessica eye circles away to her left.
Good right hand by Eye. That caused a cut on the ear of Leslie Smith.
After the fight, the doctor checked Leslie Smith's ear, which was a real mess. It was so bad that they couldn't keep the fight going, so they said Jessica Eye won by TKO in the second round. Jessica and Leslie had a wild match at UFC 180. Jessica's punch on Leslie's ear was so powerful that it made her ear explode and bleed a lot. That's why the fight had to stop, and Jessica was declared the winner in the second round. It was quite a crazy moment in the octagon, Lawler versus McDonald. Let's talk about an epic showdown at UFC 189 between Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald. Robbie was the champ, and he was defending his title against Rory, who was a top contender back then. These two fighters had met before, at UFC 167, where Robbie Lawler won by a close split decision.
For the winner by split decision, Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
So, there was some history between them, and fans were excited to see them go at it again. Now, the fight at UFC 189 was an absolute barn burner. Both Robbie and Rory put on an incredible show. They had their shining moments in the battle. Rory McDonald started things off by really punishing Robbie Lawler along the cage. He was throwing punches, kicks, knees and elbows, and it was brutal. Robbie took quite a beating. But here's where it gets crazy. In the fifth round, Robbie Lawler came back like a beast. He saw that Rory McDonald's nose was already messed up from earlier, and he went for it. Robbie targeted that fractured nose over and over until Rory couldn't handle the pain anymore. The referee had to step in, and the fight was stopped. It was a TKO victory for Robbie Lawler in the first round, and he kept his title. Now, let me tell you, both fighters were busted up really badly. They were covered in blood, and it was one heck of a battle. The fight was so incredible that it was awarded the Fight of the Year for 2015. Robbie Lawler defended his title against Rory McDonald at UFC 189. It was an intense fight with both fighters giving it their all. Rory did some serious damage, but in the end, Robbie Lawler roared back and won by TKO in the first round. It was a bloody and unforgettable showdown, earning the Fight of the Year award. There you have it, fight fans. These stories remind us why we love MMA, the thrilling battles, the heart-pounding moments, and the unforgettable fighters who leave it all in the cage. So, keep cheering for your favorite fighters because in the world of MMA, anything can happen. Until next time, stay pumped for more epic showdowns. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content.